Hey guys, Theron Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another exciting podcast tonight. Tonight we have Mr. Ryan Davidson. Ryan won the very first Music City Division BFL tournament last year on Lake Dale Hollow, so we're very excited to have him on tonight. He's going to talk about his tournament, give his predictions for this year, so another exciting podcast coming your way. Before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you're notified when all of our content is dropping on our channel, as well as check out our website, www.revitaloutdoors.com. We're a premium CBD company. We're THC free and made right here in America. We have great products for all the outdoor enthusiasts, so check us out. Also, make sure you're following us on our social media platforms. That's going to be Facebook and Instagram. Now, without further ado, let's just get right to it. I'm very excited for this podcast. Mr. Ryan Davidson, how you doing this evening, bud?
Man, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Appreciate you taking time to come on board with us. Man, first of all, congratulations on your win last year. I know it was a year ago, but that's always great to have another winner on our podcast. This time we're talking about Dale Hollow. So let's just get right into it. How far away do you live from Dale Hollow?
I'm about 4.5 hours, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously you fished it a lot over the course of your tournament career.
I have. So right where I live, actually, I would actually call it one of my home lakes or home tournament lakes. So Dale Hollow, Cumberland, those Highland Mountain reservoirs, that's where I spend a lot of my time. There's not a lot of tournament circuits with any closer. So those are kind of where I consider home lakes.
Okay, cool. So, well, last year you started the year off with a bang. You got that win at Dale Hollow. Talk to us about going into that tournament. Maybe a little bit about your practice and how the pattern that originated that you ended up catching your fish doing, and just what was real special about that week.
Well, it's funny, I usually go down and practice usually Thursday and Friday before the tournament, and so I actually got on the fish at really good. I fish a lot in the winter, so I'd fished a lot, weeks prior leading up, and so I got on a pretty solid deal, and something, it usually takes around that 20-pound mark at Dale Hollow that time of year. So, and I was on a pretty solid deal. Well, I start the first day of the tournament. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm sitting on a big goose egg at 0. Mm-hmm. So I can't remember exactly the weather. I think it got a little cold the night before the tournament, which is typical, the early March time frame there. And really, my history came into the lake. Had to bounce around and cover a lot of water, and finally got on a little deal. And the instant I did, I just started just catching them one after another. And they were really good quality size fish, and fish that were staging. And I think those fish had just got there, and so the rest is kind of history. But it was a good day. Not the biggest weight you ever see at Dale Hollow, so I didn't necessarily know I was safe, but I remember the last cast of the day, I catch a fish and I look at it and I have no time left. And me and my co-owner are discussing, is this fish going to help? And I said, man, I don't think it is. I pulled out the balance beam and put the fish on there real quick and helped. It was about a 2-ounce coal, and I go back and I win by 2 ounces. So the last cast of the day, the tournament came down to the last cast of the day for me. So it was a good day.
Okay. So we'll break down Dale Hollow a little bit. What kind of lake is it really? Is it really shine well in the springtime, or is it more of a post-spawn summertime lake? Or what makes Dale Hollow special in your eyes? Like, what's it just really known for?
Well, it's for the outside world, it's known for the smallmouth. The number 1, number 2, and number 3 world records all came from Dale Hollow, as in smallmouth. But it's actually one of the premier largemouth lakes in the country. It doesn't have a big population of fish over 6 pounds, but 3 to 5 pounders is as many per acre as anywhere in the world. It's a really special place. And any of those clear highland mountain reservoirs fish better when it's colder. The winter months kick out the biggest weights by far, and up until they spawn, and then the weights tail off. But, 365, it's the 20-pound mark is kind of the mark you got to shoot for there, whether you're fishing in January, whether it's, they're spawning in April, or whether it's a summertime June tournament, it takes 20 pounds, so it's really solid across the board.
Okay. So, well, just breaking down your tournament a little bit more, and let's think about an angler that's never been to Dale Hollow, wants to go there in the springtime, maybe fish this upcoming BFL event this year. What's just a good all around pattern on Dale Hollow? What's some good baits you would recommend? Maybe ones that you used in the tournament last year to get the win. Like just you talk about smallmouth. When I hear smallmouth, I think about reaction baits, spinner baits, jerk baits, maybe finessing game a little bit. But in your mind, what's Dale good for?
Well, so we always start getting a lot of rains this time of year in Dale Hollow. So you can see a lot of different scenarios, for the past. So let's look at the last 3 years. I've seen it low and clear. We haven't had a bunch of rain. I've seen it super high, seen the water come up 10 foot overnight, or 24-hour period, or stable. So right now the lake's about, 8 or 9 foot low. Low 40s temperature, low to mid 40s temperature. So you really have to, I've been looking at the forecast with the tournament coming up, and like on Thursday, they're calling for about 1 to 2 inches of rain. So that can really change things. So an average year, the lakes, typically the lower end of the lake's clear, up into the rivers, it's got some more color. The A-rig's always a big player there early in the year, the A-rig, jerk bait, spinner bait. And you get up in the river, the water gets dirtier. You're more a chatterbait will play, a big thumper blade Colorado spinner bait will play, a red crankbait. You can go there and catch lots of numbers. The tricky thing about Dale Hollow with a smallmouth though is the slot limit. So you're only allowed one under the 16-inch mark and one over 21-inch mark. So a lot of tournament guys don't necessarily target smallmouth because you can only weigh 2 in. If you were allowed to keep 18 and over smallmouth, it would take 25 pounds every time, but you constantly are throwing back, 4 to 5 pound smallmouth all day long. So it's kind of a heartbreaker.
That would get very aggravating in a quick hurry in my mind.
Yeah, it sure does. When you hook a smallmouth, you almost hope it's small instead of big, to get one of the under 16s, because it's so hard to weigh in over 21. Most of the smallmouth population there is at 18 to 20 and a quarter inches, and those fish right now weigh 5 pounds. And, right. So when you do hook a smallmouth, it's one of the few times in tournament fishing you're hoping it's a small fish because it's so hard to crack that, 21-inch mark. So, even the under 16s, they'll weigh 2.5 to 2 3/4 right now. So, which is a nice keeper in a tournament.
Okay. So, your tournament last year, did you have a bag of all largemouth, or did you have that mixed bag like you're talking about?
No, all largemouth for me. I kind of know what the smallmouth get on and what the largemouth get on, and I try to avoid the smallmouth as much as possible. So, I try to target mostly largemouth just because, you can go out and have one of the best fishing days of your life in a tournament there and zero the tournament, if you target smallmouth. So it's just too much of a risk, really, to fish for smallmouth.
Okay.
And there's always a way to target one species versus the other, for the most part.
Oh, really? Okay.
Every now and then, you'll catch them mixed, but for the most part, there's a way to target smallmouth and there's ways to target largemouth.
Okay. And as far as structure goes in Dale Hollow, are anglers going to be, let's say for this coming tournament this year, are they going to be relating more to main lake points, secondary points, brush piles on these points, channel swings, anything related to the current? What do you think that,
if we get rain, we're calling for some rain on Thursday this week and then most of next week, if the water comes up, the current does play, in the dirty water. But Dale Hollow, actually, for a mountain reservoir, it has grass in a lot of flat places. So the grass will play, it'll always play in those early tournaments. Bluff walls play in those early tournaments. So you can really go to Dale Hollow and target your strengths. It's got a lot of different structure from, dirty water creeks, bluff walls, grass, points, and you can win doing a lot of those different things is what makes it really a good tournament lake. Most places there's a way that you have to target a class of fish to win a tournament. Dale Hollow has a lot of options, and you can win tournaments doing a lot of those different things instead of having to say, I got to go there and I've got to fish, an A-rig, it's going to get one on the A-rig. That's not the case at that place.
You mentioned earlier it's kind of a deeper lake. How deep are we talking?
100 foot plus,
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really, really deep mountain reservoir, but it does, unlike a lot of the other mountain reservoirs, it has a lot of flats. and it has milfoil and coontail. So that's what really keeps the fish population really strong, the flats and the grass and stuff like that. So you can target the lower end is more the deep water, the midsection and up the lake. There's a lot of more flat areas.
Okay. Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about maybe a co-angler. If a co-angler is going to be fishing this tournament coming up, he's going to take 3 rods with him. What would you recommend that co-angler to bring?
I mean, definitely the A rig, because that's a bait out of the back of the boat you can make a really long cast with. Even if we have wind or whatever, and you can fish it at different various depths. So an A rig, some type of bottom bait, either a shaky head or a football jig, and probably a spinner bait, some sort. Maybe you're going to bring, say, a spinnerbait rod. You want to bring something that you can fish in the clearer water, some willow leaf blades. And then maybe if you're with someone that's in the dirtier water, something with, more vibration, a Colorado blade style spinnerbait. So that'd be my 3 picks.
Okay. And then one last question, just thinking about this upcoming tournament. What's the water temperature do? Does it fluctuate a whole bunch, or is it still going to be like mid-range, like throughout the country in that 50 to 60 degree mark? Or
yeah, it won't see the 60s. It's probably going to be, I would say it would be lucky to touch 50. So right now it's probably 43 to 45. If we get some of the big rains or the warmer rains, we could see a rise in the water temperature, but those deep clear places takes them a while to heat up. We still had we had a late winter here. So, it's the water's actually as cold as it's been all year. And so you're probably still looking at high 40s, low 50s at best.
Fantastic. So, well, Ryan, you giving us
the fishing, the cold water, those fish bite. So being just because the water's cold, that's not a negative effect.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, well, you've given us a lot of great information. Looking forward to that Music City BFL event on Lake Dale Hollow. But now, just to wrap up this podcast, we want to give you the opportunity to thank any of your sponsors, friends, family, and then maybe something that you're looking forward to this coming year in 2022.
Well, so last year, along with the BFLs, I actually fished a pro circuit and the tour, and switched and going to fish the NPFL this season. Looking forward to that. We start at Lake Cumberland, which is a neighboring mountain reservoir to Dale Hollow, the week before the BFL. So that's going to give me a little time and on the water, get with current conditions and stuff to get prepared for the BFL also. And man, it's been cold here, and I'm just getting my boat rigged and going to try to get it on the water and break it in tomorrow, and just really looking forward to getting the season going.
So cool. Good for you, buddy. Well, thank you for coming on with this podcast for Revital Outdoors. We'll be rooting for you this year, fishing the MPFL and then the BFL Music City division. So any final thoughts before we let you go?
No, man, just glad to be on here. And anytime you need to talk fishing, my line's always open.
Absolutely. We hope to have you on here again very, very soon. From all of us at Revital Outdoors, I'm Theron Asbury. We've been talking to Mr. Ryan Davidson, the winner of the BFL Music City Division event last year on Lake Dale Hollow. We very much appreciate his time and coming on and give us a little insight about this year's tournament. So be sure, again, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our website and all of our social media platforms. Until the next podcast, be safe out there on the water. God bless, and we'll talk to everyone very, very soon.